Marvin Devine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
46 years. 46 years. Began to wonder if we'd ever get it again. One of the most unifying moments in American history, 1980, Lake Placid. And I was just a teenager. The men beat the Soviet Union. We were over the moon. Those of us could actually watch the game. And then when they beat Finland for the gold medal, it's been 46 years. It shouldn't have this much importance or significance, but it does. The United States about to receive its gold medal. USA breaking records for Olympics, this time with gold medals. The most gold medals the United States has ever won in the Winter Olympics, with a dozen medals, even dozen medals. And they're about to get their gold medals. Canadians get theirs. Double gold, and all the more satisfying because it came over Canada. We defeated Canada in the women's game. We defeated Canada in the men's game. Overtime classic. Unbelievable game. Wow, the Americans didn't deserve the game. I'll be honest, we didn't deserve it. Just like against Canada, we did not deserve our win until the end. We're lucky to hang on. If it wasn't for Connor Hellebuck's incredible performance, absolutely lights out performance in goal, the United States would be sitting in the silver medal position tonight. But Connor Hellebuck saved it for an overtime. Zach Werenski down the ice, assist over to Jack Hughes, who scores a team-leading fourth goal. And the USA wins gold in the 2026 Milan Cortina Olympics to wrap up the last event of the Olympics. 12 gold, 12 silver, 9 bronze, 33 medals, I think it is. The third highest medal total we've ever gotten in Winter Olympics, but the most gold we've ever won. Right now, the Canadians getting their silver medal, folks. It's just, it's unbelievable. Forgive me if I'm a little emotional about it, but it's just a game, but it brings back memories of 1980. When this country was on its knees, thanks to Democrats and Jimmy Carter and their cowardice in Iran, their cowardice over Afghanistan. We were on our knees as a nation. Unemployment through the roof, inflation through the roof, prime lending rate at 16%, unemployment at over 20% in much of the country. The country was falling apart. It took a leader to come and save and turn it around, and that was Ronald Reagan. It's just a game. It should just be a game. I mean, the Springboks winning in Japan was exciting. The Springboks winning in France was incredible. But 95 meant something special to South Africans. That's what this means. 46 years. 46 years. Wow. The hell does the time go? I was just a kid. Just a kid. And even then, I got the significance of that game, how much it meant. The miracle on ice. The Canadians are very, very disappointed, but at least they're not sour looking. The women were sour. The men were just disappointed. The Canadian women had sour looks on their faces when they lost. Yeah, wow. I'll bring the audio in on a few minutes here as we get to the American gold medal. It's the Canadians now.
Connor McDavid wore the C the last 2 games in the absence
Connor McDavid
of Sidney Crosby.
Yeah, Sidney Crosby wasn't able to play. That no doubt hurt the Canadians. Connor McDavid right there. He looks pretty bummed out. Got his silver medal. Canadians win gold all the time. I don't know what they're so upset about. It's been 46 years. It's a lifetime. 46 years. 46 years. This is a 2018 U.S. National Rugby jersey. It's personalized from one of my favorite players, Chris Bork. I'm going to pay a lot of extra to get that put on the jersey for 2018 Pyongyang Olympics. Jack Eichel was brilliant. He was brilliant. Connor Hellup was incredible. Boldy scored the first goal, if I'm not mistaken. And then the overtime winner was scored by Jack Hughes. Wow. Americans are pretty chuffed. So Finland got the bronze medal. Congratulations to Finland when their 6-1 victory, I think it was. Yeah, no, I've only worn this couple Hershey Bears games when I went to the games after the Olympics, and then I wore it for the women's game on Friday, and now today for the men's game.
Sent it to the United States for the third time.
1960, Squaw Valley. 1980, Lake Placid.
Olympics.
In 2026 in Milan.
First time in 46
years. Kenny Albert.
Jack Hughes with the overtime goal. How about the last 5 days for the Hughes family?
Oh, man. Whew, man. Getting their medals now. Players don't even recognize. Some of these guys don't know. Team USA wins the gold medal. We set a record for U.S. performance in Winter Olympics with 12 gold medals. Wow. It's incredible. 2 of them in hockey. Women's beating Canada 2-1 overtime. And here, beating Canada. There's a 2-1 or 3-2, I don't recall. Yeah. And beating him 2-1 here in overtime. U.S. offense. Here's Jack Eichel.
Jack Eichel receiving his gold medal.
What a great player, man. Was with Buffalo, now plays for my Vegas Golden Knights, whom I'll see this weekend in Pittsburgh on Sunday against the Penguins. Looking forward to that.
Mike Sullivan and the penalty
Boldy,
kill,
who scored the goal.
The U.S. was outstanding.
Not Boldy, who scored the game's first goal.
Along with Vinny.
Yeah, wow. Man, oh man, oh man. It's today's kind of really messed up, folks. Got bingo at the Veterans Organization. I got an interview with a ref G. I don't have his thumbnail yet, so I'm still waiting for that. So I haven't set it up. The Ref G Cafe Clutch will probably be late tonight, so people have to watch this rerun tomorrow, most likely, because I've got to go do the event. We were told we're going to have like 3 feet of snow, but the roads are clear. There's like a 1/4 inch of snow on the ground. It's all melting already, so it's just above freezing out there. So, yikes. Yeah, so it's not quite the weather they told us we're going to get.
2002. Dylan Larkin.
Well, Bush picked up
Dylan Larkin, who played a fantastic series in this tournament.
How about the face-off done? He was probably
McAvoy.
in the 80 percentile.
Assistant team captain there, McAvoy. Oh, my goodness.
Father-in-law, the head coach, Mike Sullivan. Brock Nelson, 3rd-generation gold medalist.
Yeah, 3rd-generation gold medalist. His grandfather won in Squaw Valley. His dad won in 1980, and he wins today, 46 years later. Can you believe it? And this would have been his last shot. He is graying and old.
He played a 200-foot game
Austin Matthews.
in these Olympics, which is super impressive.
And Connor Hellebuck.
And talking about impressive. Look at that.
The crowd knows that's why we won the gold, because of Connor. Jack Hughes.
Quinn Hughes kept the dreams alive with the overtime.
Quinn Hughes, excuse me, Quinn Hughes, his brother.
There's mom and dad.
Gensel.
Jake Gensel won a Stanley Cup with Sidney Crosby and Mike Sullivan.
Jake Gensel, I saw as a brand new professional player playing for Scranton. I bought his t-shirt within like 3 weeks after he came up. I'm like, this guy's going to the NHL. And Gensel went to the NHL and never went back down to the minor leagues. He's been in the NHL ever since. An incredible player, Jake Gensel. What an awesome player. So exciting to see. And more medals being handed out here to the USA team.
Found a way to fight through. That is one tough customer for the Carolina Hurricanes.
Next, the OT hero.
Jack Hughes. Missing a tooth. He got chipped. High stick just before the game ended. Wow. Team USA. That's the last player to get one. Now they hand out all those little stuffed animals to them. All those little stuffed animals come out now, folks. Wow. As they go along and hand stuffed animals out. Let me do some breaking news while I wait for the anthem. Excuse me. While we wait for the anthem, let me do some breaking news here very quickly here. The Secret Service has shot and fatally wounded and killed an intruder at Mar-a-Lago. Yep. Secret Service agents fatally shoot man trying to unlawfully enter Mar-a-Lago. Trump wasn't present. Man was shot and killed by the Secret Service today as he allegedly tried to unlawfully enter a secure perimeter at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. A deputy and 2 Secret Service agents responded to the North Gate around 1:30 in the morning after a security detail detected the person entered the inner perimeter. Preliminary information indicates the individual was armed with a shotgun and in possession of a gasoline canister. Agents told the man to drop the items, but he failed to do so. Agents and deputy discharged their firearms to stop the threat. He died at the scene. His identity has not been released. He's probably a Democrat. The FBI is leading the case. Investigation is still active, according to the representative from the field office, Bradshaw. U.S. Secret Service and Palm Beach County Sheriff's Service are scheduled to provide a briefing at 9:30 this morning. I didn't see the briefing. If anybody saw the briefing, I was busy prepping for these events. But the Secret Service have shot and killed an intruder at Mar-a-Lago in Florida at 1:30 in the morning. 1:30 in the morning, folks. Wow, can you believe that? Wow. There's been a collapse, 5 trapped miners in Kimberley. More breaking news, this out of South Africa. Only water and mud. Hopes are fading for those miners who've been underground for some time. 5 miners remain trapped 890 meters underground. Thank you. Who is that? That's Francois Ferreira and Debbie Fox. Thank you both for your super chats. Thank you both so much. I'm sorry I missed that. Yep. CEO Jan Hona revealed that heartbreaking reality facing rescue operations, stating the cameras lowered in the drill holes found only water and mud with no sign of survivable conditions. Well, that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate, folks. It looks like those folks. And here we go. Yeah. So as the twilights last night, those red stripes and bright stars.
For the 12th and final time at these Milan Games, the Star-Spangled Banner. 12 gold medals for the United States, both hockey gold medals. It's the most gold medals ever won by Team USA at an Olympic Games, and it comes down to the very last play of the very last event of these games, the Jack Hughes overtime golden goal that will be replicated by young hockey players, will be shown over.
Well, anyway, there you go. So that's the gold medal final, folks. Yep. Wow. Woo. Man, oh man, oh man. Team USA gets it done, men and women. They're coming out for the photo now. I got to get the photo. Excuse me. That's what I've been waiting on, the photo. They're all coming out on the ice to take the team photo for the gold medal. And they're dropping down to the ice. Let's get out in front. Why are we zooming in so closely? Come on, it's all the way over here. Damn it. We're not far enough out. Still haven't got the whole team in. Get out, Jiminy Crickets. There it is, finally. Got it. Jeez, it took forever to get out there and get the team image. And now it's already over. I got one shot at it.
We're talking to Mike Eruzione, the captain of the 1980 team that bonds so strong still.
They had one of the players do a selfie.
Players. Their group chat was going crazy.
Nobody wants to take the selfie. Connor Hellebuck. Yeah, they get Connor Hellebuck to take the selfie.
Jersey.
And Johnny Gaudreau.
with reminder and respect. And as we look behind, Dylan Larkin and Zach Wierenski have gone into the stands to go get Johnny's kids.
Wow.
They're going to come out now, and they're going to hold their dad's jersey
Wow.
and get a picture with the gold medal team.
This is incredible. Johnny Gaudreau had 2 kids before he was murdered by a drunk driver. And they went and grabbed his kids.
Sports, and
they got his jersey.
The togetherness of a team. If you've ever been a part of a team, you know what it means.
I do.
And when we say lifetime bond, it means
wow.
Lifetime bond.
Johnny Gaudreau murdered by a drunk
See that
driver.
Smile. Zach Wierenski holding Johnny's daughter. Gives you a sense of what Jack Hughes told Catherine's happened. The USA Hockey Brotherhood.
Wow.
As Matthew Tkachuk and Dylan Larkin will take those kids back to the Gaudreau family.
Wow.
And Johnny's wife there. Emotional as you would understand, Meredith. Waiting for the kids to come back to her. At USA Hockey Brotherhood, in large part, the National Team Development Program Center.
Wow, that's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Oh, here we go. The Hughes brothers. Yep. Wow, I missed that opportunity. The camera wasn't there long enough. Excuse me. Wow, what an iconic victory here. Jack Eichel. Let's see if I can get some of these pictures here. Save a few of these, and then I'll run through the pictures for you guys. Yeah, this was incredible. I didn't think we were going to win it. I thought it was over. I thought we were toast. It didn't look promising, to say the least. Did not look promising. But we win double gold medal at the Milan Cortina Olympics with men and women both winning gold. We had some failures in ice dancing and pairs ice skating. Big disappointments there, not winning gold. Jordan Stoltz was predicted to win 4 golds off the speed skating. He won 2 and a silver. Incredible performance, but still, we had the gay activist Amber Glenn, who was a huge disappointment, although she gets gold medal in the team event, but huge disappointment. Jake Gensel wiping tears from his eyes here. It was an Olympics that, despite setbacks, the Americans did incredible. Our speed skating, we got medals we didn't expect. We also got medals in a few of the moguls events we didn't expect. But wow, something else. Something else. Johnny Gaudreau's kids brought out on the ice. At least he had kids. He has a legacy left behind despite being murdered by a drunk driver. Wow, here's the team photo finally. This is what I was looking for, saving a bunch of these images. So I see some people have left because they don't want to celebrate the joy that I'm celebrating, and that's fine. If you don't want to be joyful with me when I'm joyful, then you can leave. That's your prerogative. Hit the road, Jack. No one asked you to be here. Sour pusses can leave. I see that we've lost about 10 viewers, and that's just too bad for you. Go find something else to do with your life and be a sour puss. 46 years I waited for this moment. 46 years. Heartbreak in Salt Lake. Heartbreak in Vancouver. It just, disappointment in Pyongyang, a team that was not nearly as good as it could have been because the NHL wouldn't let players play. But now that we're back with NHL players, we get the premier hockey. And we saw it in this Olympic tournament. 3 of the 4 quarterfinals went to overtime. It was incredible. And the women's final and men's final both go to overtime. I mean, what more could you ask for? This is an incredible Olympics. Incredible Olympics. Mike Tirico there and the USA. All right, so fantastic. All righty. Let me see what we got here in the chat before we get into the news. Oh, man. No doubt about burning through your chest. Thank you very much, Irina. Okay. Yeah. Well, the French won't let you have DSTV anymore. They're just scumbags. Loretta, I'm okay. How are you? Proud of the USA. Really enjoyed the Olympic Games. Yeah, the Olympics were fantastic this time around. Okay. Hey, Heidi, how's it going? All right. People excited for me. Thank you very much. And the sourpusses can leave. I saw see a couple more left. A couple more left. Good riddance to them. All right. Back to the news now, ladies and gentlemen. Democratic Alliance campaign. Their campaign topic is water. Panyaza Lessufi's hotel showers as it unveils 3 mayoral picks for the West Rand. DA announced 3 mayoral candidates for municipalities in West Rand, all 3 where they have water crises. Yep, DA Councillor Tyrone Gray will contest the Mohali City mayoral seat. Jacques Julius will stand as DA's kit for mayoral position in Rand West. Yep, and Carlos Rebello at its Marifong City candidate. Where the hell are these places at? I haven't heard of these places, these made-up names. Our water losses are too high. We often sit without water in our taps. Our infrastructure isn't maintained the way it should be. We will crisscross our towns, visit all areas, listen to our people all at once. Well, how come you haven't listened to them all along? Hey, DA, how come you haven't listened to them all along? You ought to already have all the complaints and issues. You ought to already be working on it. You are counselors, after all. You are part of the council. So now you're going to solve the problem because you want the mayorship? Give me a break. Yeah, I didn't see that, Joe. Did he survive? Pranyaza Lessufi is scrambling to find friends. This Tubalard piece of human feces is struggling. Look at his buddy there, Fikini Mabalula. A couple losers who would be nothing without a political party to latch onto. The provincial leadership, the ANC in Gauteng, is battling to keep the EFF on the onside in their ruling coalition in the Ekurhuleni mayoral situation. Several sources said the ANC leadership was holding talks with EFF on how to salvage their relationship, dealt a body blow by unilateral action taken by Zakanzi. Robert Mugabe's son collapses twice in custody. Little wussy boy can't stand up to a little criticism, little interrogation there. The police are hunting for the missing gun. Bellarmine Chatunga Mugabe allegedly collapsed twice in police holding cells and required urgent medical care. Little faker. Acquaintances have reported that Mugabe lives in chronic medical condition that requires daily medication. Really? Does arrogance and black supremacy require daily medication? Does cheek require daily medication? I had no idea those were chronic medical conditions. Does being an asshole require medication for a chronic medical condition? Bellarmine, is that what your chronic medical condition is, being a little twerp? Yep. We swiftly attended to him. He revealed to us he has medical conditions, immediately informed his lawyers and those close to him to quickly bring in his medication. He is not well. He's lived with a medical condition since he was a child. He needs his medication to survive. Without his health would be in jeopardy. We were told he collapsed twice in the holding cells. He survives on those medications. What does he have that he's had since a child? Bellarmine Mugabe. What is he doing in South Africa? What is he doing in South Africa? Why is he living in South Africa in a mansion with a fake police car and guns? He's a foreign national, illegally living in South Africa. What the hell is he doing there? Why does the ANC allow this to happen? MK fighters endured racist treatment from Russian officers. That's ironic. Isn't it ironic that the MK officers, or MK fighters, they're fighters, yeah, right. They receive racist treatment. I mean, after all, they have a racist attitude towards minority South Africans. So what a turnabout. What a turnabout being treated by racist. What's that feel like, going there and being treated by racist after the way you treat people in South Africa? Family members of the 4 MK fighters who've returned to Russia say the men described harrowing and racist treatment in the hands of the Russian officers. Upon arrival, they're forced to burn their belongings, stripped of their identities, and issued Russian fatigues. Without preparation or training, they were thrust directly into a war zone, shouted out, abused, and treated as expendable outsiders, living under constant fear of Ukrainian drone strikes. Sunday Times can reveal that a 39-year-old man from KZN deployed to Russia in a war zone was injured in a drone attack, resulting in the amputation of his foot. Another South African man, a 45-year-old from St. Province, has been confined to a wheelchair since he was injured in a drone attack. His colleagues are unsure his condition is permanent. Well, that's unfortunate. But that's what you get when you go off to fight as a mercenary in a war you don't have any business being in, unfortunately. And, you were treated by racists. You've experienced racism. Hey, well, what's that like? I mean, that's something minorities in South Africa can tell you about every single day, being attacked by racists. All right, apparently somebody can't follow rules. You were warned once, Now, I've removed your message. I've removed your message. If you can't be respectful, then you're going to be blocked. You were not given a timeout. I've removed your message. This is not a refugee stream. Are you hard of hearing, or is English an alien language to you? You have a refugee question. Be considerate and wait. This is not a refugee broadcast. YouTube is not showing I have a live stream. I don't know about that. Let's take a look. I'll go to my channel. Maybe they're not showing to you, but let's see. My channel. We'll see what they show. No, they show live stream on mine. Here it is right here. It's just, it's not played nice in here. See, there you go. See, this is live right there. Live. There you go. It's live. It says live. I don't know why it's so hard for people to follow instructions. No, I'm not surprised you had to go find it. That's YouTube. That's who they are. That's what they're all about. So they don't want to celebrate 46 years since the U.S. won a gold medal. And by shadow banning me, what a bunch of losers. All right, so... oh, well, that's a different thing, Pat. You're saying it didn't promote it to you. Not promoting it to you and not showing it as live. It is being shown as live. Yep. You have to go to my channel and find it. That's what we tell people. That's why we only have 207 now. We usually have 500 people on a Sunday show, but only half are here. Yep, half the audience we normally have. I've already warned that person earlier, but they paid no attention and decided to come back with another question. Very inconsiderate. All right, back to the news. We declare war. Twitter raced poster. Herman Mashaba gives Johannesburg mayoral position to another go. Action SA leader Herman Mashaba has unveiled the party's Johannesburg mayoral candidate. He and 4 others were shortlisted. Mashaba says he'll be boxing against corruption, incompetence, and decline. Action SA unveiled its president, Herman Mashaba, as Johannesburg's mayoral candidate yesterday morning. He's given the position other than having been mayor with the Democratic Alliance from 22 August 2016 to 27 November 2019. He was among 5 shortlisted candidates, but he got a surprise. Not a surprise that Mashaba's the guy. But it's a pretty empty arena there. It's a pretty small place they're having this event. We're here to declare war. I start with this declaration because it must be clear from the very start this campaign will not be about theory, personalities, empty commitments, or endless talking. Mashaba themed his campaign as action and delivery. Seriously? Welcome, Alex. Thank you for your membership. Wow. Declaring war. Well, good for you. Mr. Nil Compensation himself is commenting that he can't reform the system. Mr. Nil Compensation, notice his neck is getting larger. He used to be a pretty thin, sharp, fit-looking kind of guy, but living off the government teat seems to be making that neck larger, getting some jowls on there. Yes, Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure hopes the new ring-fence investment vehicle will unlock value from state properties. He says government has identified large tracts of underutilized public land for mixed-income housing. Oh, they're going to steal it. Here is your face of black supremacy, the white face of black supremacy. The white face of black supremacy, Dean McPherson. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome into the arena now the white face of black supremacy in post-apartheid South Africa, Dean McPherson from the Democratic Alliance, who will steal your land. Who will steal your land. Department of Public Works and Infrastructure says it's planned to steal property. Well, there he's claiming state-owned, but you know he's going to go for your land. Into a revenue-generating engine could finally reverse years of decay and underuse and billions wasted on private office leases. For decades, South Africa has owned one of the country's largest public property portfolios, yet much of it has stood vacant or deteriorating. Why? Because the ANC runs the country. Because the ANC runs the country in the ground. That is why. In an interview with City Press this week, Public Works and Infrastructure Minister Mr. Nil Compensation, Dean McPherson, said the reform represents a decisive break from how the state has historically managed its assets and test of whether a government can deliver on long-promised reforms. Ooh, moving away from broken model. The broken model is theft, corruption, and patronage. Are you going to move away from that? No. The ANC has said that BEE, black economic enrichment, is not going away. So how are you going to change this? You're not going to change this, Dean McPherson. Of course, you're the guy telling us that nil means something. It means something. Yeah, nil is the number of votes you would get in an actual election. Nil. The reality is that we have the largest property portfolio in the country that is unrealized in its value and does not generate any meaningful income. That just can't be accepted anymore. No shit, Sherlock. No kidding. Who's been telling you that for 6 years? Who's the largest landowner in South Africa? The government of South Africa. Ooh. And the land gets wasted. Wow. Mr. Nil compensation. The sickening odor of neglect chokes Welcome. Plunged into crisis from collapsing infrastructure and billions owed to utilities. The Free State town of Welcome is engulfed in sewage thanks to multi-billion rand wastewater treatment plant being offline owing to collapsing infrastructure and the municipality's staggering 7.3 billion debt to Eskom. The town falls under the Mahatchabang municipality and has about 400,000 residents. Issue qualified audits by the Auditor General, and now the provincial government has threatened to intervene to bring it back from the brink of financial collapse. They owe 14 billion to Eskom. And why does it say 7.3 billion up there? And Val Central, because it's two of them. Yep, 14 billion rand. Here are members of the Hotful Civic Movement unblocking stormwater drain in front of the police station. In front of the police station. This is Africa. This is ANC. This is what they can bring in. This is the level of intellect that the ANC brings African governance to South Africa. There you go. There you go. Welcome to West Africa. Welcome to the Congo. Oh, I'm sorry. That's Welcome in the Free State. Wow. 7.3 billion they owe to Eskom, 7 billion they owe to the Vaal Central Water Board, 26 million legal bills outstanding, 418 million in water distribution losses, and 204 million electricity distribution losses. Wow. People are getting sick because water is contaminated. There's sewage spillage all over the town. And it's worse than the townships. Well, that's because you scumbags have destroyed it because you've turned it into Africa. You see, you can't build something and then walk away from it, you freaking morons. You don't build something and walk away. You don't get in a car, put petrol in it, drive it, and drive it, and drive it until the engine seizes. You service it. You maintain it. You repair it. You dumbass, dingbat, doorknob, corrupt, thieving, typical liberation, waste of space, oxygen thieves. My goodness. Well, but we're talking about the fourth industrial revolution and smart cities, and yes, that's right, and the just energy transition. Yes, whoa, we're on top of this, says the ANC. Seriously, on top of what? Waves near Khabera can generate enough power for 5,200 households. Well, I've been talking about wave energy for 25 years. Scotland was a pioneer in it. Canada tried it and wasted billions of dollars. It didn't work. A feasibility study has found the port of Ngura could host South Africa's first onshore wave energy project. 8.3 megawatts of electricity could be generated using existing port infrastructure. Well, let's not hold our breath on that one. There's another cater enrichment scheme is what this is. Yep, another cater enrichment scheme. Cater enrichment, wave energy, please. A convicted fraudster has been appointed as a Free State Hospital Chief Executive Officer. You can't make this stuff up. This guy's a criminal. A competent acting CEO within 6 years' experience was sidelined for a convicted fraudster with no healthcare background. Political pressure was applied on panel members before shortlisting with criminal records dismissed as irrelevant. Expired medication was administered to a 9-year-old patient under new leadership, highlighting immediate operational dangers. The appointment of convicted fraudster Zongizile Adam Zumane as CEO of Senorita Lapate Hospital has exposed the extent of political patronage networks operating within the Free State Department of Health, according to multiple insiders. Sources claim the controversial appointment, which only surfaced last week, has left Health Minister Aaron Motsoaledi unhappy. It should mean he's removed from office. The source said Motsoaledi has since made contact with the Free State government to demand answers. His office denies knowing about the appointment. Well, he can deny it all he wants. He should be removed. At face value, from the information you are giving us, it is not something we'll support or encourage. Well, only after the press exposed it. Responding to city press questions, Motsoaledi's spokesperson, Selo Lediga, said they could wait for a full report on the matter, which was submitted to the Public Service Commission. What, 25 years from now? Court documents show that from 2012, show that Zumani was convicted of defrauding the Bloemfontein municipality of more than 5 million rand between 2000 and 2005. So how many more crimes has he committed since then? He was part of a criminal enterprise involving 6 government officials and 5 private citizens. They were charged with 259 counts of fraud, racketeering, theft, and money laundering, estimated at 747 million rand. Everyone knew he's convicted, but the argument advanced was that there was no law prohibiting him from being appointed. Excuse me? Excuse me? You defend hiring a convicted felon by saying there's no law preventing you from hiring convicted felons? What kind of morons run this country? What kind of dumbass, dingbat, doorknob, dipshit, lying, thieving scumbags are running South Africa? Multiple insiders described the recruitment process as being compromised from the outset. There was political pressure to appoint him, and panel members were lobbied even before shortlisting. His criminal record was brought to the attention of panel members during the recruitment process. According to court records, Albert Kruger found that Zumani had operated his fraud scheme through the African Jazz Club, a company that had no bank account, apparently deliberately. Instead, payments were made in employees' personal bank accounts, and the employees could withdraw the money handed over to Zumani. Kruger noted at the sentencing that if he was doing good business in the municipality, he could have used the business bank account. Prices were inflated and were high. It's crazy how they went for Zumani, who has no experience, at the expense of Mbelo Diba, who had been acting since 2019. Another source described the appointment as reckless, stating, while there should not be discrimination, placing convicted fraudster in charge of a hospital money raises serious governance concerns. City Press understands that Mbelo Diba was a qualified medical doctor who has been working in the hospital for many years, where Zumani holds a national diploma in nursing and used to work for Bloemfontein Metro as a public servant. Sources report that under Zumani's leadership, standards have already been compromised. Senorita Nlabati Hospital allegedly administered 2 expired drips to a 9-year-old patient since Zumani's appointment in July. Well, that's not much to go on, but the point is you hired a convicted fraudster, a man who's a thief, and he was proven to be a thief 2 decades ago, to run a hospital by pushing out a guy that was doing the job. Jeez. SARS closes in on Chipa Mpengizi's empire with a 53 million asset seizure. What is the only consistent thing in all of these fraud cases? Zandile Gumeda. Let's just put it on the table. Let's just put it on the table. Ace Magashule, Zandile Gumeda, Cyril Ramaphosa, Vincent Magwenya, Zweli Mkhize, this guy, the cat, Mtatla, Saps. What do all of them have in common other than being thieves and liars and accused corruption? What do they all have? You hit it on the head, Garrett. They're all African, which doesn't exist. Everybody in Africa is an African. They're all one thing, and it ain't a Boer, and it ain't Portuguese, and it ain't colored, and it ain't Indian. What are they all? They're all one thing. Yeah, corrupt. You thought I was going to say something else. They're all corrupt. All corrupt. Nothing but thieves. They have destroyed this country. Rapacious thieves. How can anybody survive with a business in a country like this? Siviwe Chipa Mpengizi faces asset seizure by SARS over 53 million. How do you get 53 million in unpaid taxes? How the hell do you get 53? I haven't made 53 million anything in my entire life. That's his tax bill. His tax bill. And that's money they know he made. He owes 53 million after failing to file income tax returns for his training academy. How much more money has he owed the government? How much has he stolen? How much criminal activity is this guy involved in? He's also involved in allegations of non-payment of salary to employees of the School of Experience. He doesn't even pay his staff. Boy, I tell you, if I made a video and called it the All Blacks and put all the corruption faces up there, South African accused, boy, that would be called racist, wouldn't it? But it'd be true. It'd be true. That doesn't mean white people aren't guilty of corruption. We've identified people who participated in the Venda Bank scandal, and they're the only ones in prison, the white guy. Yep. Wow. Call them the All Blacks. That would really get people's feelings hurt. But it is. It is. Because the system is set up to enrich black people. Just like the old system was set up to enrich white people at the expense of everyone else. Chinese Communist Party arrested private citizens for posting videos of crowded budget trains amid sluggish economy. Gosh forbid, we can't tell people things are bad in the country. The authorities are tightening control as economic pressure on everyday people's lives increases and public discontent grows. China is collapsing. Chinese regime authorities have arrested several citizens for posting videos of overcrowded budget class trains during Chinese New Year that reveal the hardship of everyday Chinese as the economy flounders. During the travel rush for the most important Chinese holiday, Lunar New Year, which fell on February 17th, videos posted on social media showing overcrowded old green trains with travelers filling the aisles and sitting on the floor attracted wide public attention and discussion about people's struggle in the sluggish economy. By contrast, when I went to the Rugby World Cup in Japan in 2019, the trains were packed. We were standing. We couldn't load any more people on the train. We were shoulder to shoulder, literally, riding between the Shinkansen and Kyoto. The Japanese didn't arrest me for publishing videos of an overcrowded train. Wow. Compared to high-speed trains, tickets for green trains cost a quarter or less. For low middle-income groups, migrant workers, and students, it's real relief for their wallets. The slow green trains may seem to be going against the tide of railway development, but they're a necessity for many people's travel. Yeah, but they put them in prison. They arrest them and jail them for telling the truth about the trains failing people. Lobbying firm co-founded by former UK Ambassador Mandelson stops trading over Epstein fallout. The lobbying firm co-founded by Peter Mandelson, a former UK ambassador to the United States, collapsed into a form of bankruptcy on Friday in the wake of the scandal surrounding his links to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Global Counsel said they had stopped trading and roughly 80 UK-based staff were being laid off after many customers cut ties with the company following revelations about the scale of Mandelson's friendship with a disgraced financier who died in a New York prison in 2019 under suspicious circumstances. Yep, the company has 130 employees around the world. Well, so much for that. Another Epstein acolyte. Newfoundland lobster tags are found on the shores of Scotland's Orkney Islands. Plastic. What's the problem? Plastic is evil. Is that the problem? No. Stupid people throwing things in trash is the problem. Newfoundland lobster tags. Check out that guy's hair, man. Woo. From the 1980s, among plastic trash washing up in Scotland. David Warner is shown on February 20th in Scotland. He's holding 2 plastic lobster tags stamped NFLD, dated 1988-1989, which were found washed up on a beach on Sanday. That's an island in the Orkney archipelago. Lobster tags from Newfoundland dating back to the 1980s are among piles of plastic trash that was washed up this year on Sanday, an island in the Scottish Orkney archipelago known for its pristine white sandy beaches. David Warner organizes regular beach cleanups on the island, which is on the northeast side of the remote archipelago. Recent storms and ice seas have eroded the dunes on the Howard Sands beach, revealing vast troughs of decades-old plastic bottles and other, as they say, detritus. In a video interview, Warner held up a Kirkland brand bottle of maple syrup with English and French on the label, suggesting it could be from Canada. He also displayed a red plastic lobster tag stamped Newfoundland 1989. Other bottles clearly originated in the UK before Britain stopped using shillings in 1971. Though decades old, the bottles are in near perfect condition and the label still intact. For Warner, it's a grim reminder that humans have produced years and years of indestructible plastic waste that is likely much more to come. You're suddenly faced with the fact that this is out there and the fact that it's so old. Where is the most recent rubbish that still hasn't come in yet? Good question. But the answer here, he says, what's the solution? Short term, it's beach cleaning, monitoring and counting it so people can be aware. But long term, I think there's no solution, which is the solution itself. We just need to stop using it if we can. Stop using plastic is not the solution. Start disposing of it properly is the solution. That is the solution. Plastic fills an invaluable role in the world's economy and in the health and safety of our species. However, its misuse leads to tragic consequences. And people dumping stuff in waterways, people dumping stuff on ground, unprotected, instead of disposing it properly in a landfill where after 10,000 years it will be biodegraded. That is the problem. Former UK Prime Minister Boris the Morris is back. Yes, he's calling for allies to send non-combatant troops to Ukraine. What the hell is wrong with this guy? He went off the deep end. He was a great mayor of London, but that was the last time that he had any relevance. Former Prime Minister Boris Johnson says UK and its European allies should immediately deploy non-combat troops to Ukraine to show Russian President Vladimir Putin the Western nations are truly committed to the nation's freedom and independence. Speaking ahead of the 4th anniversary of Russia's full-scale invasion, he told the BBC that troops should be sent to peaceful regions in non-fighting roles. The comments from Johnson, who is one of Ukraine's staunchest supporters as Britain's leader during its first months of the conflict, were contained in excerpts of an interview that will be broadcast today. This guy needs a lobotomy. there's something seriously wrong with Boris Johnson. Wow. Congratulations to Finland, who have won themselves the bronze medal at the Olympics in a 6-1 spanking of Slovakia. Scored 4 goals in the final period to win their bronze medal. Finland won the bronze medal in men's hockey at the Olympics for a third consecutive time, with NHL players participating, beating Slovakia 6-1. Of course, they were the defending gold medalists, and now they've won the bronze. Erik Haula scored 2 goals, Vegas Golden Knights player, and Joel Armia had a goal and 2 assists for Finland, which also got bronze in Sochi in 2014 and Vancouver in 2010, and left Turin with silver in 2006. Finland scored 4 times in the third period, bouncing back after blowing a 2-goal lead in a 3-2 loss to high-powered Canada in the semifinals. Yep. So congratulations to Finland. Slovakia made an improbable underdog run through the tournament before losing to the U.S. in the semifinals, but was unable to secure back-to-back bronze medals 4 years after finishing third in Beijing. Well done. Well done to Finland. Congratulations. Let me take a look into what's happening. Okay, now they're showing the 4-man bobsled final run. Yeah, well, we don't need that. It's the U.S. run here, DeLuca. The U.S., I don't know. I think they must have got a medal in the bobsled. I didn't see the results. But this is the 4-man bobsled. And these events are over. It's evening now. And they got the closing ceremonies coming up. But the U.S. team finished ahead of the Netherlands at this stage in the 4th heat. So that's fantastic. But I think we might have got a medal in that. Not sure. Anyway, congratulations to Finland. President Trump, he says he's sending the U.S. comfort to Greenland. Greenland? What? Trump says he's sending hospital ship to Greenland. The comfort is based in Baltimore. He said he wouldn't immediately be determined what prompted the decision or when the ship would arrive. President Trump said he plans to send a hospital ship to Greenland as part of his continuing effort to exercise control of the island, which he said has been vital for national security. Late Saturday, Trump posted on social media that he is sending a ship to take care of the many people who are sick and not being taken care of there. It's on the way. I don't think it's going to go well. Navy has 2 hospital ships, the East Coast-based Comfort and the West Coast-based Mercy. It'll probably be the Comfort. Danish Defense Minister Troels Lund Poulsen told the country's broadcaster on Sunday that Copenhagen wasn't informed about the decision to send a hospital ship, and Greenland doesn't need assistance from such a vessel. Well, it doesn't, I don't think. To Boris, I would say I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy, says Courtney with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Courtney. We forgot what super chats were all about. Thank you so much for that. We forgot what they're all about. Yeah, Europe's downfall is the European Union, correct. Well, and that means the downfall is Germany and France because they're the architects of that. Yep. Yep. Hundreds march in Lyon to protest the bludgeoning, brutal murder of a right-wing activist. They're calling him right-wing because he wasn't a leftist. Hundreds march in Lyon to protest far-right activists killing as Macron urges calm. I was just in Lyon for the World Cup 2 years ago. About 3,000 people joined a march organized by far-right groups on Saturday, after a nationalist activist died from a beating in the French city of Lyon, an incident that highlighted the climate of deep political tensions ahead of this year's coming presidential election next year. French President Emmanuel Macron called for calm ahead of the tribute to Quentin Durand, 23, who died of brain injuries in a hospital last week. This is a moment of remembrance and respect for this young compatriot who was killed, for his family and loved ones. This must come first. And then it's a moment of firmness and responsibility, Macron said. 7 people have been handed preliminary charges. Lyon Public Prosecutor's Office requested that each of them be charged with intentional homicide, aggravated violence, and criminal conspiracy. 6 of the accused were charged on all 3 accounts. 7th was charged with complicity in intentional homicide, aggravated violence, and criminal conspiracy. He was attacked during a fight that erupted between far-left and far-right supporters in the margins of a student meeting where a far-left lawmaker, Rima Hassan, was a keynote speaker. Macron said he will hold a meeting with ministers next week to carry out a comprehensive review of violent activities. The main tribute to Durand took place in Lyon, where clashes between far-right activists and far-left groups have become frequent. Lyon's far-left-leaning militant groups are more recent and were created in reaction to many far-right groups that have been present for several decades. Durand's death triggered a storm of recriminations, mostly blaming the far-left France Unbowed Party and its leader Jean-Luc Mélenchon. Yep. The French are angry, and rightly so. The French are angry, and rightly so. The Epstein files have led to a wave of resignations and investigations, including this Bonnie boy and his wackadoodle former wife, Sarah Ferguson. I love you, Jeffrey. Will you marry me? What the hell is wrong with that loser? It's been more than 2 weeks since the latest tranche of files related to deceased financier Jeffrey was released, outlining years of correspondence with visual evidence connecting the convicted sex offenders, some of the wealthiest and most powerful people in the world. The massive trove, totaling more than 3 million documents, was roiled Europe, leading to resignations, criminal inquiries, drawing further scrutiny toward Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the former prince and brother of King Charles III. In the U.S., however, professional exits and investigations of people named in the files have not taken place on the same scale. A few have, such as Kathy Ruemmler, an official in the Obama White House, who stepped down from their jobs. Epstein pled guilty in 2008 and was arrested and charged and convicted. But let's see. Here's some of the prominent figures. Peter Attia, a physician and longevity expert, faced scrutiny after the latest release of docs revealed his friendly and sometimes crude correspondence with Epstein. He wrote, P blank, 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 Y is indeed low carb, still awaiting results on gluten content. Wow, what a twisted, sick individual. In June 2015, he wrote to Epstein, the biggest problem with becoming friends with you, the life you lead is so outrageous, and yet I can't tell a soul. He stepped down from a protein bar brand. Apologized for his interactions. Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayam, Emirati businessman, resigned from his role as DP World chairman. Sarah Ferguson, Sarah's trust has been shut down. Yep, our chair, Sarah Ferguson, the board of trustees have agreed that the charity will shortly close for the foreseeable future. Yep. Larry Summers, former Harvard University president, served as Treasury Secretary under Bill Clinton, stepped back last year from public commitments on OpenAI and ChatGPT. Thorbjorn Jagland, former Prime Minister, Secretary General of the Council of Europe and former Prime Minister of Norway, is charged with aggravated corruption in connection with the Epstein case. Mona Juul and Tyr Rod Larsen, a Norwegian diplomat, last week resigned as the country's ambassador to Jordan and Iraq, and her husband, former diplomat, are facing corruption investigations by police in Norway after media reports indicate Epstein had left a couple millions in his will. Brad Karp resigned as longtime chairman of the law firm Paul, Weiss, Rifkin, Wharton, and Garrison. Wow. Miroslav Lajcek, former president of the UN General Assembly, resigned over his role as National Security Advisor to Slovakia's prime minister over his communications with Epstein. Wow. Jack Lang, former French cultural minister, and his daughter Caroline are facing investigation for laundering of aggravated tax fraud proceeds. Peter Mandelson, former British ambassador to the United States, resigned from Labour Party, and now his business is shut down. Morgan Sweeney, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer's chief of staff, has resigned. George Mitchell, former U.S. Senator, represented Maine as a demon rat before serving as Clinton's envoy to Northern Ireland. Mentioned more than 300 times, resigned as honorary chairman of his namesake institute in February. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, scumbag, creepy pedo perv. David Ross, influential figure in the contemporary art world, has resigned from his position as chair of the master's degree program at the School of Visual Arts in New York. Kathy Ruemmler, former Obama White House lawyer, resigned as chief legal officer. What the hell is this woman doing with the perv? Johanna Rubinstein, the chair of Sweden's United Nations Human Rights High Commissioner for Refugees. Wow, resigned after recently on a field document revealed she visited on his private island in 2012. Steve Tisch, the National Football League said it would review communication between Tisch, who co-owns the Giants, and Epstein following the latest document release. Casey Wasserman is selling his talent agency after the emergence of flirtatious correspondence between himself and Ghislaine Maxwell in the latest batch of files. Wow. He told Maxwell he wanted to see her in a tight leather outfit. In late 2021, Maxwell was convicted in federal court of trafficking. Yes. Here are just a handful of the scumbag, perverts, retards, disgustingly vile, wealthy, rich, connected pigs who've been ruling this planet for the past 30 years. And their conduct, along with the Clintons, will be exposed by the Epstein files. Oh, give us the Epstein files. We'll get Trump. We'll get Trump. We'll get... No, you won't. Because Trump didn't do anything. Trump warned you in 2015. Trump warned you in 2015. But you didn't listen. And the people talk about Pizzagate. Remember that conspiracy theory? Remember that conspiracy theory? Oh, yes. So Trump warned us in 2015. You ready for this? Here, let's listen to this. This is 2015, ladies and gentlemen. Before he even became a politician. Donald Trump warned people. And now the cannon is backfiring on these scumbags. You ready? This is 2015 Donald Trump. Not AI, real.
You raised the question of Jeffrey Epstein in your remarks about in the Q&A.
Well, I think he's got a problem. I mean,
what do you think the problem will be?
I don't know, but that island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew. He'll tell you about it.
Let's replay the tape. 2015, February 27th.
You raised the question of Jeffrey Epstein in your remarks about in the Q&A.
Well, I think he's got a problem. I mean,
what do you think the problem will be?
I don't know, but that island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew. He'll tell you about it.
Wow, 2015. They're trying to go after Trump. They try to tie Trump to the Epstein crap. Trump dumped him. And he told people, and they laughed about it. Just ask Prince Andrew. 2015. 11 years ago, Trump warned people about this. And who knows how often he warned authorities before that. Yep. Oh, but we're going to get Trump. Pfft. Yeah, only if you're frauds. Yep. Unbelievable, folks. And they Trump won't release the Epstein files. Look at all the people being caught up in the Epstein files, and it ain't Trump. From 10 to 15%, Trump escalates a tariff fight hours after Supreme Court's rebuke. Notice the dark screen he had? That was pretty cool. President Trump on Saturday said he'll bump up the temporary global tariff on imported goods from 10 to 15% a day after the court struck down his initial duties. He said in social media decisions based on thorough, detailed, and complete review of a ridiculous, poorly written, extraordinarily anti-American decision on tariffs issued yesterday. Tariffs will be raised effective immediately on several countries. That says counties, but should be countries that have been ripping the U.S. off for decades. His initial 10% tariff on foreign goods, Section 122 of the Trade Act 74, came Friday and marked his dissatisfaction with the High Court. In their 6-3 ruling, Justice said Trump overstepped by invoking the international emergency economic powers to impose tariffs. Section 122 lets presidents establish a baseline tariff to close trade deficits limited to 150 days unless extended by Congress. Under the directive Trump signed on Friday night, the 10% tariff was scheduled to take effect starting Tuesday. Now he's raising it to the maximum amount allowed under the law, 15%. Yeah, they are dumb. They don't read it. They see Trump's name and they think that there's something there. When actually there is these demon rats, perverts. Tariff ruling rips open Trump's relationship with Roberts. Well, Roberts is a scumbag. He's not a conservative. He's never been a Republican. It's all lies, appointed by George Walker Bush to the court, and he's been a disaster for the court. For nearly a decade, President Trump has viewed the Supreme Court as his ally. Well, that was a mistake. They've never been his ally. And even his own appointments have turned against him. His own appointments. U.S. companies are scrambling for refunds. Supreme Court rejects Trump's blanket tariffs. Hold on a second. Wait a second. I'm confused. The analysts all told me that I was wrong, that I know nothing about macroeconomics, that I'm not an economist, that I don't understand how this works. Remember that? Last year when Trump announced tariffs, and I said that tariffs don't mean the consumer will necessarily pay for the price increase. I said that a year ago. Remember that? I said so. And I've said so throughout the year. I said they could pay, but it doesn't automatically mean it. Why? Because depending on the level of tariff, if it's not onerous, then the producers and or the transporters and or the wholesalers and or the retailers, the four different product chains that are involved in the delivery of goods and services to you, will absorb pieces of that tariff. A little bit here and there. Some of the tariff here and there. They will absorb it. Because why? Why would they do that? Are they generous? No. Or do they want to protect consumer? No. There's one reason they'll do it. One reason. To avoid loss of market share. Do you know how expensive it is to advertise and gain market share? Do you know when you have a stupid product like Prime Water or Pet Rocks and it takes off, how easily that can fall apart and evaporate? Do you imagine the billions spent by Toyota to get market share in the U.S. and build factories here? Do you think they want to lose that? Do you think that the Chinese who've spent 20 years violating trademark laws, stealing copyrights, industrial espionage, preventing our goods getting their economy, want their ability to get chunks of our market share disappear? No. So they'll eat part of the cost. Now, the proof that I was correct is right there. Companies are scrambling to get a rebate on why are they getting a rebate? If I'm the one paying the tariffs, if the consumer's the one paying all the tariffs and it's a tax on consumers, which is what the Supreme Court said, how are these companies asking for refunds? They can't ask for refunds. It's not their money. They didn't pay it. According to all the experts, yes, All the Jeffrey Sachs, that sack of shit. All these experts, we are being taxed. Well, then we get the refund, not the companies. How can they ask for refunds for taxes they never paid? Oh, wait, it's not a tax. It's actually a tariff. And we didn't pay all of it. How the hell can I buy a 65-inch brand new Samsung television for $312 LED smart TV if we've got 30% tariffs on China? Because they eat most of the cost. And this is what I've been telling people for a year. But you geniuses out there that know nothing about economics, who are economists, lied to the world. How can a company ask for a rebate on something they didn't pay? Well, because they paid it. Just like I said they would. U.S. businesses fought Trump's sweeping tariffs and won. Now they want their money back. They didn't fight it. This wasn't done by companies. We are confident Customs and Border Protection's ability to move quickly and provide clear guidance on American business on how to obtain refunds for tariffs or unlawfully collected, says Steve Lamar, President and CEO of the American Apparel and Footwear Association. Hey, Steve Lamar, you can shove it. You can shove it because you pricks charged us. The $90 freaking tariff I paid, which is supposed to be 10% on the stuff I got from the UK from World Rugby, give me my money back. Give me my money back. Screw you, Steve Lamar. You didn't pay those tariffs. We did. Well, at least according to The Economist. Well, New York City gets its first blizzard since 2017. Major winter storm is expected to bring heavy snow and strong winds across the Northeast, causing forecasters to issue the first blizzard warning in New York City in nearly a decade. Storm expected to stretch from Philly to Boston. Well, we were supposed to get snow and almost nothing hit here. Almost nothing hit here. Well, now they say it's going to be 5 p.m. Make up your mind. Well, according to the Washington Post, who gleefully publishes this, 60% of Americans disapprove of President Trump. Woo! 60%. Hercules, 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 Hercules. Wow, that means that unlike Joe Biden, where 97% of Americans disapprove of him, wow. Democrats have made little headway in persuading Americans that they have better ideas, because they don't. They're racist scumbags. As President Trump prepares to address the nation Tuesday evening, Americans remain generally sour about his performance. Not really. Majorities disapproving his handling of priority initiatives while saying he's overreached the authority of his office. No, he hasn't. President's approval rating stands at 39% positive, 60% negative, including 47% who say they strongly disapprove. Last time his disapproval reached 60% was after the January 6th events of 2021. Wow. The border. 50% disapprove. Well, screw 50%. Immigration, 58% disapprove. It's not immigration, it's criminal aliens, you dumbasses. The economy is soaring, dumbasses, 57%. U.S. relations to other countries, 62%. Well, that's a fair one. Tariffs, they're upset. Well, screw them. Inflation. If they're upset about Donald Trump and inflation, this is all media driven. Do you approve of the way Trump is handling each of the following? Inflation, 32%. Inflation is at 2.6%. It was at 20 and 30 and 40% under Biden, despite the government lying and telling us it only reached 9.7%. They disapprove of his handling inflation. There's virtually no inflation. Prices are dropping on everything. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What kind of poll is this? Wow. Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, Trump is demanding the removal of Susan Rice. Remember her? Well, if we call it a genocide in Rwanda, what'll happen to the Democratic Party in the midterms? Will we lose? Will they make us pay a price? Remember this heartless, callous bigot? Susan Rice, piece of human sludge. She's on the Netflix board. No wonder it's the all-black supremacy network. President Trump demanded Netflix kick former National Security Advisor Susan Rice off its board, adding another political headache to the streaming company's pursuit of Warner Brothers. Netflix should fire racist, Trump-deranged Susan Rice immediately or pay the consequences. Wow. In a recent interview on U.S. former attorney Preet Bharara's podcast, Rice said that when Democrats come back to power, they shouldn't forgive or forget those corporations that bent the knee to Trump. Whether you're a law firm, whether you're a university, whether you're a media entity, whether you're a big corporation, whether you're big tech, you need to play a long game, not the short game that's been so detrimental. Yes, she threatened revenge against people who support Trump, including voters. This deranged lunatic ought to be removed from Netflix. I agree 100%. She should live in poverty. She's the reason 800,000 Rwandans weren't saved. Susan Rice. Yep. And the courage of a former military officer who carried the nuclear codes, it sat in the room and reported this truth, covered up by the media for decades. Susan Rice. In the midst, when we had a warning order to evacuate people, Westerners first, of course, but then Rwandans. We had an order to take our helicopters to Rwanda from Hanau, 4th Brigade, 1st Armored Division, 1994. Warning order. Go to Rwanda. Rescue these people. Get them out. Take them to Kenya. What happened? Susan Rice in a meeting with little Dickie Clinton. Little Dickie Bill Clinton. Well, what happens if we call it a genocide to the Democrats in the midterm elections? She was worried about the midterm elections. Can you believe it? I can't believe it because that's the piece of human sludge this person is. People being butchered with pungas, murdered, chopped alive, painful, suffering. 850,000 people tortured, murdered, killed, bodies floating down the river. And this scumbag worries about the Democrats losing the elections in 94. Susan Rice, as despicable a human being as they come. Now she's talking about revenge for people who voted for Trump. Oh yes, Zoran the Moran, the fascist Islamo-Nazi running New York City, is begging New Yorkers to come shovel snow because they've already stolen all the money. They have no money to shovel snow. Screw him. Let the city be paralyzed. Well, what will the tickets cost for the Olympics? Well, in 1984, they were only $3.84. My goodness, it's a shame that I was in Germany. Organizers promised 1 million tickets for $28 each, but people who remember the 84 aren't so sure the Olympics will feel as accessible. Oh, look, it's Karen Bass. Ugh. The moron that runs Los Angeles. The day before the Milan Cortina Olympics started earlier this month, Sarah Donnelly pulled out an old Ghirardelli chocolate box holding her ticket stubs from the 1984 Olympics. When Donnelly and her husband, Dennis Kissick, reminisce about the Summer Games coming to Los Angeles, they note the highlights that many Angelinos still recall: the glorious weather, the remarkable reprieve from LA's normally clogged traffic, the elation as the United States medal count piled up each day. She can hardly believe some of the prices of those old tickets. She saw exhibition baseball at Dodger Stadium for $6. For $16, she saw the world's best boxers compete. Her track and field tickets cost $33. It seemed like a lot at the time. It's a little over $100 in today's dollars. It was all totally fun, she said, the spirit of it all, the pageantry, and people from different countries. Now the Olympics are headed back to Los Angeles. When the Milan Cortina Games wrap up today, the world will start to look ahead to the 28 Olympics in Los Angeles, but ticket prices will be much higher. Organizers have said that only a third of the tickets will cost less than $100. Another third will cost more than $250. The 1984 experience will be unreachable for most Americans. Back then, ticket prices started at $3. Adjusted for inflation, that would be less than $10 today. Meaning today's dollars, half of all tickets were cheaper, around the cost of today's cheapest seats, which will be $28. The average cost in 84 $17, today $55. Wow. So much for the Olympics. Won't be watching that. FBI sounds new alarm over nihilistic, violent extremist groups targeting children. Hang on a second. I gotta check and see if I've got something from this guy. Oh, that's not it. What the heck's that? Okay. There it is. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Got it. All right. FBI sounds alarm on nihilistic, violent extremist groups targeting children. They say they're investigating more than 350 subjects in connection with the group. FBI officials issued a sharp increase in activity by the so-called 764 group over nihilistic, violent online networks targeting children. Issued a letter to parents to keep watch over their children. Ooh, that's not good. Over 20 million have been stolen from ATM hacking scheme, the FBI warns. Malware lets hackers get money from machines without authorization. The FBI has issued a warning about rising nationwide instances of ATM jackpotting, in which criminals hack into ATM machines to steal funds. Wow. 1,900 ATM jackpotting incidents since 2020, 700 of them with more than 20 million in losses in 2025 alone. U.S. military is amassing strike capability near Iran. What do we got? 2 carrier strike groups. The first is the Lincoln Carrier Strike Group. It includes F-18 Super Hornets and F-35 Lightning stealth fighter jets. And the destroyers Mitcher and Delbert Black, 96 vertical launch missile cells. The Forward Carrier Strike Group, also in the region. Forward deployed aircraft at bases throughout the region, F-15s, FEA-18 electronic aircraft, F-35s, KC-135s in Saudi Arabia. The U.S. is ready. That's Midnight Hammer. That's the attack they did in Iran previously. Could draw weapons from all over the planet for this attack. Documents have confirmed what Donald Trump has claimed, that J.P. Morgan and Jamie Dimon closed his bank accounts unlawfully. He's suing them for billions after the January 6th breach. President Trump has maintained for years his bank accounts closures were politically motivated, which they were. New court documents released Friday show J.P. Morgan Chase told President Trump a month after the January breach that the bank was closing his accounts. Disclosure was made amid a $5 billion lawsuit he filed against them and the CEO, Jamie Dimon. It's the largest bank in the United States and didn't specify a reason for the account closures in letters it sent to Trump. One of the letters said the bank had the right to decide that a client's interests are no longer serving to maintain a relationship with J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan admitted to unlawfully intentionally debanking President Trump, his family, and his business, causing overwhelming financial harm, said a spokesman for the family. Yep, and they're right. So, in all the joy, we're all excited about the Olympics. At least I'm excited. You saw my emotion at the beginning of this broadcast. A record-setting Olympics for the U.S. Wow, record-setting Olympics for the U.S. What are we talking about? 12 golds, 12 silvers, and 9 bronze? Well, the record number of golds and winning back, men and women's gold, that's the record-setting part. But that's not what the media wants you to know about. Now, how I've talked about the Olympics, who have I talked about? I've talked about Alicia Liu winning. I've talked about the hockey team winning, the men's and the women's team winning. I've focused on women's extensively. I talked about Amber Glenn, the gay activist. I talked about other gay athletes. I talked about straight athletes. I didn't care about their orientation. I didn't care about their gender. I didn't care. I talked about black losers, black bobsled runners. Didn't care about their ethnicity. What does the media do? A record-setting Olympics. And I hadn't even thought about the gender or the ethnicity or the sexual orientation of the athletes throughout this entire thing. I just reveled in the academic or the athletic performance. But what do? A record-setting Winter Olympics, 6 golds and 17 medals for U.S. We got 12 golds and 30-some medals. Oh, women's events. Seriously? KJCT, you're focused on women's events? The U.S. women's hockey team had just won Olympic gold, and veteran forward Kendall Coyne Schofield summed the moment up perfectly. We did it! Plenty of American women, more than ever in Winter Olympics, had the same sentiment. When it came to winning medals, they did indeed, in record numbers too. American women, not even counting mixed events, were up to 6 gold, 17 medals through Saturday. Our team is so strong, where Milan Cortina women's slalom gold medalist, Alpine legend Michele Schifrin said. We have so many incredible athletes and teammates, everybody just showed up. Well, she's talking about the team. She's talking about the team. Not about the lesbian Breezy Johnson who won golds in alpine skiing. Who cares? That's what they care about. That's what they care about. What they care about is promoting genitalia. The media. We can't just revel and enjoy that Americans won. Unbelievable. I'll bet you if most of the medals have been won by women, that's what we'd be talking about. What if our only golds have been won by openly gay athletes? Oh, look, it's the gays who win the Olympics for us. Stupid. They're Americans, idiots. And President Trump has approved the D.C. Emergency Declaration of Potomac sewage spill. Tens of millions of gallons of sewage dumped into the Potomac River by Maryland. Westmore. E. coli and Staphylococcus aureus levels are soaring in the Potomac River. Sick. It's like living in friggin' Deep Sloot or living in Hummunskral, Maryland, incompetent. under a Democrat. All right, folks. I've got to wrap up here. We've got a refugee stream coming up. I haven't set it up yet. Let me just do, hang on a second here. Let me set that up before I do it so I can get you guys redirected to it. Let me get the last refugee stream. And there we go. That's not it. Come on, where's my last refugee stream on here? Oh, there we go. Bruce the Service Dog was the last one. Okay. Rocky Mountain High. Okay. Today is the 22nd. I thought the Olympics were over the 23rd. I'm confused. Okay. Okay, got that taken care of. I'm going to fix one more. I got to take out. Oh, my TikTok's in there. I didn't realize that. No wonder people are finding my TikTok. Change. I'll just put a standard one up there. And I'll change this shortly. God bless it. I have a hard time finding what I'm looking for here. Isn't that frustrating when you can't find what you're looking for? Media files. Let's go with Blue Fog. Then I'll know I got to change it. 4 list. Okay, next. Next. 1 p.m. There we go. Public. Okay, so that's going. We'll see you later, Rudolph. Love the emotion of the win. Love when people have. Thank you, Vanner Kruger. Okay, let me just go ahead and get this up now. Content. There we go. All right, I got to make an image for it, but I'll get that done. Okay. All right, guys, we're going to have to wrap up here, but I've got to set you so you redirect on this to, where the heck is that? I'm not in the right place here. What's going on? That's what I want. Gosh bless it. Doing too many things at once. So I've got to set this up so that this one goes to that one. Customization, redirect. There we go, Rocky Mountain High, and I'll set that up. Okay. We probably won't do a, as I have to go back to the veterans thing tonight, so probably will not do the Cafe Clutch until late tonight. 10-minute sports update after the news every day. That's an idea. Screenshot. Oh, okay. Mad Max, what do they got there? Hang on a second. Okay. Mad Max. I don't see anything from Max. Oh, okay. Hang on a second. What does this say? Oh, wow. Does somebody access a Network 24 can download the article and send it to me? Can you download the article? That's why they want to talk to me. Okay. So I will go after News 24. Yep. Email address. Someone put the email address in there, please. I will deal with this later on, and News 24 and Peter Dutoit will regret their lies. Someone get that for me. That's just messed up. Wow. This is not good. Wow. Wow. Okay. All right. All right, you guys take care. Thanks. Man, geez, it's just, I got to deal with that now. Thanks, Max. Cheers. Be sure to hit the like button, guys. Have we got likes? Got any likes on this thing? Turn 67. All right, thanks. You guys can hit more likes than that. Cheers. Bye-bye. Wow, crazy.